They said to Pilate, "We have a law that prevents us to swear, because it is a sin. But let us swear by the safety of Caesar that it is not as we have said, and we will be guilty of death." But Pilate asked Ananias and Cappius, "Do you answer nothing to these things?" And Ananias and Cappius said to Pilate, "These 12 men are believed when they saw he was not born of fornication, but the whole multitude of us cry out that he was born of fornication and is a sorcerer and claims to be the Son of God and a king. And we are not believed." And Pilate commanded that the whole multitude go out, except the 12 men who said he was not born of fornication, and commanded Jesus to be set apart. And then Pilate asked them, "For what reason do they desire to put you to death?" And they said to Pilate, "They are jealous because he heals on the Sabbath day." Pilate asked, "For a good work they do desire to put him to death?" And they said to him, "Yes." Pilate was filled with indignation. He went outside the judgment hall and said to them, "I call the Son to witness that I find no fault in this man." The Jews answered and said to the governor, "If this man were not a criminal, we would not have delivered him to you." And Pilate said, "Take him yourselves and judge him according to your law." The Jews said to Pilate, "It is not lawful for us to put any man to death." And Pilate said, "Has God forbidden you to kill, but allowed me?" Pilate went back into the judgment hall and called Jesus aside and said to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And Jesus answered and said to Pilate, "Do you say this of yourself, or did others tell you this about me?" And Pilate answered Jesus, "Am I also a Jew? Your own nation and their chief priests have delivered you to me. What have you done?" And Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have fought to prevent me from being delivered to the Jews. But now my kingdom is not from here." And Pilate said to him, "Are you a king then?" Jesus answered him, "You say that I am a king. For this reason I was born and have come, that everyone who is of the truth should hear my voice." And Pilate asked him, "What is truth?" And Jesus said to him, "Truth is from heaven." And Pilate asked, "Is there not truth upon earth?" Jesus said to Pilate, "You see how those who speak the truth are judged by those who have authority upon the earth." Pilate left Jesus in the judgment hall and went out to the Jews and said to them, "I find no fault in him." The Jews said to him, "This man said, 'I am able to destroy this temple in 3 days and build it up.'" And Pilate asked, "What temple?" The Jews said, "The one which Solomon built in 46 years, but which this man says he will destroy and build it in 3 days." And Pilate said to them, "I am guiltless of the blood of this just man. See it to yourselves." The Jews said, "His blood be upon us and on our children." And Pilate called the elders and the priests and the Levites to him and said to them privately, "Don't do this. There is nothing worthy of death in what you have accused him of. Your accusation about healing and profaning the Sabbath?" The elders and the priests and the Levites said, "If a man blasphemes against Caesar, he is worthy of death or not?" Pilate said, "He is worthy of death." And the Jews said to Pilate, "If a man is worthy of death for blaspheming against Caesar, this man has blasphemed against God." And then the governors commanded all the Jews to go out from the judgment hall. And he called Jesus to him and asked, "What shall I do with you?" And Jesus said to Pilate, "Do it as it has been given to you." Pilate asked, "How has it been given?" And Jesus said, Moses and the prophets foretold my death and rising again. The Jews had been listening secretly and heard this. And they said to Pilate, Why do you need to hear more of this blasphemy? And Pilate said to the Jews, If this word is blasphemy, take him for his blasphemy and bring him into your synagogue and judge him according to your law. The Jews said to Pilate, Our law states that if a man wrongs another man, he should receive 39 lashes. But anyone who blasphemes against God must be stoned to death. And Pilate said to them, Take him yourselves and avenge yourselves of him in whatever manner you will. And the Jews said to Pilate, We want him to be crucified. And Pilate said, He doesn't deserve to be crucified. As the governor looked around at the multitude of the Jews standing by, he saw many of them weeping and said, Not all the multitude desires that he should be put to death. The elders of the Jews said, The whole multitude of us have come here so that he should be put to death? Pilate asked the Jews, Why should he die? And the Jews said, Because he called himself the Son of God and a king. But a certain man, Nicodemus, a Jew, came and stood before the governor. He said, I beg of you, good Lord, allow me to speak a few words. And Pilate said, Speak. Nicodemus said, I spoke to the elders, the priests, the Levites, and all the multitude of the Jews in the synagogue. I asked them, Why do you contend with this man? This man performs many wonderful signs which no one has done or will do. Let him alone. Don't devise any evil against him. If the signs he performs are from God, they will stand. But if they are from men, they will come to nothing. For truly, when Moses was sent by God into Egypt, he performed many signs from which God commanded him to do before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. There were certain men there, servants of Pharaoh, Jannes and Jambres. They also performed signs, not a few of those which Moses did. The Egyptians held them as gods, even Jannes and Jambres. But because the signs they performed were not from God, they perished, along with those who believed in them. Now let this man go, for he is not worthy of death. The Jews said to Nicodemus, You became his disciple, and you speak on his behalf? Nicodemus replied, Has the governor also become his disciple, that he speaks on his behalf? Didn't Caesar appoint him to this dignity? The Jews were enraged and gnashed their teeth against Nicodemus. And Pilate said to them, Why do you gnash your teeth against him when you have heard the truth? And the Jews said to Nicodemus, May you receive this truth and its portion. And Nicodemus said, Amen. May I receive it as you have said. This is from the Gospel of Nicodemus.